Hey, Julie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I'm very excited about business and everything that is possible for a coach these days. Really ready to talk about our subject matter for today.
Absolutely, which is the five do's and don'ts when you are first starting a coaching business. Now, um, Julie and I, for those of you who are maybe joining us for the first time, we are both coaches in our own right. Julie is a writing coach and I am a health coach. But we can't cross paths about a year and a half ago, and we were in very similar stages of our business, making the same mistakes and having similar experiences. So we decided to put our experience together to support other coaches, other aspiring coaches who want to break out into the industry and share their expertise and support their clients. But we want to cut the time in half for you all. Or cut as much time as possible so you can skip over the mistakes that we've made and learn from our experience. So these are five do's and don'ts when you are first starting your coaching business. Julie, would you like to start with the first one?
Yes. So the first thing that we want you to do is to know in your heart of hearts that people need what you have. What you already know how to do, what you already have in your arsenal of skills and know-how. There are people out there who want it, they need it, and they are willing to go through the process with you to learn what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of the things that I think is really common when you're first starting out is like, well, what if I'm not knowledgeable enough? What if I'm a fraud or just, what do I need to go out and get some more certifications or some more degrees and just like keep racking up all of this, information before I can actually help other people? And so what I would say is, you don't have to know everything in the universe to help people. You already know a lot. Your personal journey with the thing that you want to teach others is already enough. You can use that journey as insights into how to teach others and how to help people and empower people. And through that process of starting to help people now, you get even better at your own discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And you also get better at being a coach.
Absolutely. One of the my favorite sayings is you can be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. That is the epitome of a coach. There's never this optimal level of education or optimal level of development or a certain status that you have to reach in order to be qualified to be a coach, right? We're always developing and bettering ourselves and expanding our knowledge, but understanding that what you have right now, working with what you have, is enough to start with. You don't need that other certification. You don't need another degree. You don't need all the fancy things. Like, you can start now, but that self-doubt that's exactly what it is. It's self-doubt, and you have to start believing in yourself and owning your value as not just a coach, but as an individual, because I think a lot of that comes from like this imposter syndrome, like, who am I to step out and start helping people? I don't know it all, but you know enough, and your unique experiences are what are going to make you stand out, and it's also going to what's going to attract people to you. So really owning it, embodying it, is like the first most crucial step when you are embarking on your coaching business, I would say.
Yeah. And so along with this thing that we want you to do, what we don't want to see you do, what would break our hearts if we see you doing this, is downplaying your value and questioning your value. So just that mindset and being in this mindset of I'm insufficient, there's lack, instead of being in the mindset of abundance and like, look at all of this stuff that I can use. That is definitely something we want you to step away from and just dispense with immediately, so you can get started and be powerful yourself, step into your full power, and give that to others.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, when you downplay yourself, the person on the receiving end can feel that, right? So you got to own it. Don't downplay your value. You have a lot to offer. Everyone has something to offer this world, but especially coaches right now are very, very needed. So very well said. So moving to number 2, do look for ways to connect with other coaches and or entrepreneurs. Okay, so collaborate. Don't go it alone. The moment Julie and I connected, both of us, not just as a team, but individually, we started excelling even more. So it's true, you know, two heads are better than one, three heads are better than one. Get in a room full of people and exchange ideas. It's you are so much stronger when you are connecting with people who are going through what you're going through with similar mindsets. It's only going to elevate you and actually support your business at the same time, not only your development as a coach, but your business as well. So what would you like to speak to?
Well, I also want to say that, yeah, you can empower yourself just by being in the same room with someone who shares your energy, your interests, and journey. But then in turn, this is going to benefit anyone else that you come across. Just by, you know, collaborating with somebody else, this benefits everyone, and not only benefits the two people collaborating or three people, what have you, but anyone that you go out into the world and whose lives you touch, you're benefiting them just by virtue of having talked with someone else. So the benefits of reaching out and connecting to other coaches and entrepreneurs, this is it's ever expanding.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say that the being in a community or having at least one other person that you can turn to for questions and ideas and troubleshooting, it takes the mystery away from how to build a business. Because, you know, there are certain strategies, there are certain best practices, and if somebody has a tip they can give you, it takes that mystery away, and you get to move faster. And of course, you get better at what you do a lot faster.
Absolutely. So what we're basically telling you here is do not go it alone. Don't go it alone. So look for ways to connect with other like-minded people, entrepreneurs, coaches, people who've already maybe have done what you're looking to do, people who are a little, like a few steps ahead of you that you can learn from. Having a mentor is absolutely crucial, in my opinion, when you are embarking on your entrepreneurial path. So do not go it alone. Yeah, and the last thing I'll say to that is it's important to remember being an entrepreneur, it can feel like a lonely journey. So that's also why it's very important to give you that that lift when you're feeling discouraged, or because it's a roller coaster. Would you say, like, being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster?
Definitely a roller coaster. And if you don't currently have a community of fellow entrepreneurs, if most of your network is either retired or they're employees, and so they have this kind of, you know, steady paycheck and they go to the 9 to 5, it's hard to relate. You don't have anyone around you who's saying, yeah, go for it, because, you know, not to denigrate the employee kind of mindset or whatever, but it's just a different way of thinking. It's a different way of being a professional. And so having someone who's an entrepreneur and being around that mindset, it can only help.
Oh my, yeah, that's such a good point, especially if you're making that transition right now from your old, let's say 9 to 5, or your old career into a completely new path. You got to surround yourself with people who are thinking in that mindset, because you are the average of the top 5 people you surround yourself with, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you can go ahead and lead number 3 if you'd like.
So this is kind of related. So at the same time that you're reaching out to fellow coaches and entrepreneurs, what we want you to do is to reach out to people that resemble the kind of people that you want to help, or people that you can already start helping. So what we're talking about here is building your client base, building your list of prospects, people that need what you have. You have to start, when you're first starting out, you have to start reaching out. Okay, we can't just stay in the shadows and expect people to just sort of come upon us magically somehow. So some ways to do that is to start with your current network, your friends and family. Do you know anyone who's looking for this thing that I want to provide? Are you looking for something like this? Is there a way that I can empower you? And then, so that's with your conversations, people you already know. Of course, you want to go ahead and launch your social media accounts as soon as possible and begin searching through those channels for your target audience. At the same time that you're posting content, you can also start real conversations with people through social media that you haven't been acquainted with yet, and now you are. Another thing to do, and this is something I did when I was first starting out as a coach, is I started hosting a few free events, both in person and online, to get the conversations going, to attract people who would be interested in what I'm offering, and just get the conversation going, get them to know one another, get them to know me. And even though I didn't formally have a lot of offers ready before I hosted my first free event, at least that first free event is I started building my list and getting people in the conversation.
Absolutely. That's something I also did in the beginning is I started a meetup group in my local area. So getting out into your community and like doing direct like outreach and offering those events, and just let your community get familiar with you, right? Like that's what you're essentially doing. But also while you're out in the community hosting your free events, maybe do a workshop here and there. You could also be direct outreaching to people you already know. And I like to call this my low hanging fruit. So like, who do you already know that could benefit from what you're offering, right? Perhaps friends and family, always you could reach out to them, which you should never be afraid to do. I remember when I first started, I actually sent out a message to anyone on Facebook. I went through my whole friends list and I just started sending messages, direct messages to people who I thought might be in need of my services. And I got several consultations out of them. I think I only converted 1 or 2 people to actual paying clients, but the general rule of thumb, I believe, is for every 12 people, you will most likely convert 1. So to gain momentum, you certainly have to start putting in that extra effort. Also, perhaps people who know people, right? Like when I started to gain some clients, I would ask them to refer me to somebody else that they know. So those are think about those low hanging fruits. Who do you already know? Who's in your network that you can start branching out to? And just to reiterate, I don't know if we touched upon it. So the don't here is do not hide in the shadows and expect people to magically stumble upon you, because that's not how it works. You have to put out your energy there for people to be attracted to you. Okay, number 4, do invest in yourself and in your business. This one is huge. You want to take it away?
Yeah, so I love the word investment, because implied in the word investment is the return. Okay, so with every good investment, there is a return, either in knowledge or revenue, or both. Knowledge, for a really committed entrepreneur, knowledge turns into revenue if you're applying it. Okay, so one thing I want to emphasize here now, Colleen and I have both invested in our formal education as well as in our business education and continuing education, with just how to live a best life. We both invested in all kinds of things. And one thing I want to emphasize is that this does not have to be $1 bazillion right up front. Okay, so you don't have to drain your savings right at the outset. You can arrange your business and personal investments to grow with your revenue. So if you're just starting your business, maybe your first investment to support that endeavor is to take a course, take a workshop. Okay. And then as you're implementing what you learned from that course or workshop, and you start generating revenue using that knowledge, then you can take a portion of that revenue and expand your investments and start investing in a coach, like a one-on-one coaching program. Maybe you find that you need a real brand, that you need to invest in some branding, or maybe a virtual assistant, or some technological systems, whatever the need arises. But you can set up your investments so that they grow with you. But the point we want to make is that go ahead and get into the mindset of investing always produces a return, and you can get in the business of looking for the opportunities. What did I just learn in terms of skills and knowledge, and how do I apply that to immediately get the return and to generate the revenue?
So well said. So what we're saying here is do not be afraid to spend money on your goals, and don't rob yourself and those who need you of your services. And the only way that you're going to grow, as there's kind of 2 moving parts to this, right? There's you, the individual, as the coach, and as the business person who needs to continue to grow and develop your skills and expand your thinking and your knowledge. But you also have to, in turn, grow your business. And I love this saying, your business will only grow as much as you do. So an entrepreneur is going to think, all right, well, if I'm really going to do this and I'm going to start investing in myself and in my business, what can I start cutting back on? Okay, so one of those things might be, if you're somebody who likes to go out to eat all of the time, so much money can be saved by just cooking at home. That Starbucks, that $5 Starbucks that you get every day on your way to work, you start cutting back on that, you're saving a few $100 by the end of the month. That could go to a course or buying some books or hiring a coach. It really depends on your priorities. And if you're serious about being a coach and an entrepreneur, this is just a little bit of tough love here, is that you have to change your choices. You have to make choices that are going to be in alignment with what your ultimate goal is. Okay. And that includes your spending habits. So don't be afraid to put down some money. It's again, that ROI, the return on investment that you are looking at. So it's not always instant gratification like we're used to in this day and age. We're in it for the long haul. So yeah, definitely invest in yourself and your business and align those choices with what you ultimately want. Okay, and last but not least, do charge your friends and family. No discounts, no friends and family discounts, okay? And there's a reason for this. Just because they're your friends and your family does not mean you should go easy on them, does not mean that you should give them special treatment. Because they are your friends and your family, you want, if your service is to help them, right? So many people I know, friends and family, have come to me for health coaching. Now, I feel like if I were to, and I've done this before, so I'm speaking from experience actually. So I've charged very low payments for my coaching for families and friends. And what ends up happening there is they end up falling off. They don't take it as seriously because the stakes are not high enough. So do not be afraid, especially in the beginning, because you're going to get people that you know coming to you. Do not be afraid to charge your regular prices, because it's going to bind them. It's gonna keep them accountable. It's like, okay, I'm paying, $500 a month for this service. I better get my ass on that. Sorry for my language, but it happens. I better get my ass on that call, or I better, stay on top of my goals, because I am investing in myself, in my health, in my future. The moment you start to downplay your prices, you're also downplaying your service. That's the way I look at it.
100%, I agree. And I'd like to add, especially with your friends and your family, you care about them. So if anything, you should hold them to the very highest of standards for their own performance and their own empowerment. And part of that is the price. Okay. And just like Colleen said, when we don't have enough at stake, it's very easy to be like, you know what, I don't want to jump on the group call today. I don't want to do this homework. Because we haven't put anything into it. Just by virtue of the investment, we start really thinking of something as, yes, I must put in the time. I must get everything out of this possible. I'm going to squeeze every drop out of it. And of course, you want to see your friends and family succeed more than anybody else. So another thing I want to add here is when you're having these conversations about, okay, here are my services, here's the price, you can coach everyone through any price related fears. Okay, this is any objections about price, like, well, I can't afford it, this is expensive. This is an opportunity for further conversation. You can ask, what is behind your hesitation here? What are you comparing this to? This is always an opportunity to serve and to get people to really take a look at what it is they're spending money on and what their attitudes are towards investments and empowerment. And this is definitely the case for friends and family, just like anybody else. And when we care about people, we care about their future. So this is a conversation you can have. Another thing too is, if you're really thinking about, as we noted a few minutes ago, when you're investing in yourself, when you're making those investments in yourself, letting go of some of your income, some of your resources, so that you can get knowledge, so that you can learn how to do something, you understand what that feels like. And if you do it for yourself and you're transforming others' lives as a result of the investments you've made, you really start seeing your worth. You feel it. You're like, you know what? This is my price. I've been putting all this into my own empowerment. This is the price for your, being in this program. So that is definitely another side of it too. That it's not just that the investments you make in yourself help you learn new things, but it really, when you start putting a dollar amount on that, wow, these thousands of dollars I've invested in my own empowerment. This means that the price I'm putting on my own services is the correct price.
Yes, your price should reflect your own investment into yourself as well, right? So the more that you continue to invest in yourself and your business, the more confident you're going to become as a coach, as an entrepreneur, and the more comfortable you're going to get with those higher price points. And to make a business sustainable, you have to have, a fair price point that is still affordable for your market, but yet that is going to allow you to run a business. Oh, it all depends on where you're coming from. So if you're coming from a good place, if you're coming from a place of service and you know that, and if you express that to them, like, I'm here to, the reason I charge this X amount is because I care. I want you to see this through. I don't want you to keep going through this cycle of, for Julie, like, you start your first page and then you fall off, and then you go back to the drawing board. You start your first page and you fall off, and then you never get your book done. Or for me, that the weight loss cycle that people are always on, like, okay, they take 2 steps forward and they fall way back. Well, with this commitment, I'm not going to allow you to do that. That's not going to happen. We're going to get you to where you want to go, but you need that binding factor. And a lot of times it's the investment. So if you come from a place of service and a good-hearted place, then your clients will also feel that. But you have to sometimes coach them through that on the call too. So yeah. So those are the 5 do's and don'ts when you're first starting a coaching business. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to drop them in the comments down below. We will make sure to answer every single question, or send us a direct message. We will also answer any questions that come in through there. Julie, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think that this really is where most coaches start, and the things that they really need to start doing, and the things they really need to step away from. These are the priority things. So yeah, we would love to talk to you about all of them. We'd love to know if one of them is really weighing on you more than any of the others. That would be really interesting too.
Yeah. So I'll wrap this up with just a question is, what are you currently struggling with? For any aspiring coach out there, or any new coach out there, what is your biggest obstacle right now that you can't seem to overcome? Talk to us, and we'll help you sort through that. But until next time, we will talk to you all soon.
Bye.